Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome back to it's not a breaking news, but that's the only overlay we've got, so that's what we're going to go with. Obviously, the club released the season ticket information, the compensation information from last year for fans today, so we're going to discuss that on today's show. I want as many fans as we can get tonight on the show. I've just dropped the link in the chat if you want to discuss it. If you're for it, against it, indifferent, whatever your opinion, I want to hear it. I want to have it on the show because it is something that, you know, concerns us all as fans. Some see it one way and some see it certainly another way. Matt Stunnard, hey, hope all's good. We'll see Barnsley back in Premier League next year. Stuart Codley, good, crazy, because next year I have the very first season ticket. Lots of chat about some tickets in the chat there. Mark Judd, my daughter was very similar. That was 18 years ago. Just bought her first car. Time really flies. Don't know what conversation I'm walking on there, but there we go. Emerson further. Evening all. How's everyone doing? Crunch. Ben Moore. Hi. How's you, Matt? Colin is in the house. Yes, Colin is in the house with me this evening. We've got Colin. We've got Callie. We've got Curtis. All with different views and opinions. I've got absolutely no doubt about it. First of all, let's play the video that the club released on their social media and the website. You may or may not have seen it, but here it is, courtesy of ITFC.
(1962) Ipswich Town, champions of England. Crawford and Phillips reigns. Alf conquered all. A place in history gained. Another future England man was to follow, with Wembley glory to come, and in 81 Europe would fall to Bobby and Sons. Walk, Mariner, Butcher, Mills, the Dutch masters Muren and Tyson, their names never to be forgotten. But football moves on, and they moved on. Relegation followed. Dazelle dazzled, Kiwamya scored, the good times returned, and a place back at the top table. A familiar face took charge in 95. Playoff heartbreak became the end of the ride until it was Wembley in 2000. The journey this time had a happy ending. Stewart led the line as goals flowed in the Premier. Town back in Europe and Inter were beaten. A drop from the top, though, saw a royal appointment. More playoff despair would agonisingly follow. A new name on the lips of Town supporters, but no way back to the promised land, as Magilton, Keane and others sought it. Recent years have seen more tears than cheers in the pages of Ipswich Town, but a new chapter is coming. Change is coming. There's a new team in town. The next chapter begins.
You really couldn't find a better club than Ipswich. And you know, with that, we are so grateful and humbled by this opportunity.
And from an owner's point of view, you always know that it's the supporters who really own the club. And you seek to leave the club in a better state and a better position than when you walk in the door on day one.
Long term going forward, this club will change, has to change and must change.
Our goal is to get the youth as passionate about the club as so many other generations have been.
We want to bring the success that this club deserves, and it has to start with on-the-pitch performance.
I don't know why anyone would be investing in English football if they didn't have aspirations to get to the Premier League.
And without fans, you've got nothing.
with the personnel that's about to come into the club, with the ownership that we've now got, we can look forward to transfer windows and players coming into the club that the fans can relate to, and the identity of the team being clear. We want to be a really strong, aggressive front foot team. I think one of the things we can all guarantee at the minute, that Ipswich has got a really bright future. I think we can all guarantee that.
Wow. That's something. Emerson Feather gets the heart pumping. Adam Flack, Cook sounds like some kind of mafia boss. Get that out of here. Mark Rowell. Tell the Americans are involved. Seen nothing like this before. Should put this on local news. Will promote new area. Will sell more tickets. Had in my headphones, they had some serious cinema vibes. Like pinned against the wall at one point. I'm going to bring in the resident goat of Talking Town, Colin. Colin, bringing a bit earlier than I thought I would do. But what are your thoughts, just having seen that, first of all, before we get to the refund situation?
Well, I must admit, good evening, Martin, by the way.
Good evening, sir.
I must admit, I thought the actual clip there, I thought was very, very good. And I've got to say, everything that's come over the last few weeks or last few days, it's been absolutely excellent. As regards the season ticket,
well, we're getting there in a second. I just want to run through some key points. No, you're fine. Let's run through some key points for maybe those that are getting in, not seeing it, or what have you. Okay. But as the chat is saying there, Colin, does it get the heart pumping? Does it get the goosebumps up? Does it make you want to run through brick walls, get back to Portman Road?
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree. I mean, I thought that was compiled very, very well. Indeed, I thought that was excellent, and whoever put that together deserves a lot of credit, because that was very, very good. It was a goosebump feeling, without no shadow of a doubt whatsoever. Yes, I absolutely agree with that.
100%. By far the best package I've seen the club produce. They've obviously been giving the boys at Portman Road some training. Good on them. Crunch 76. Portman Road is our church, Colin. It really is. But to many, it also comes at a cost. I'll drop the link in the chat one more time. First of all, let's just run through the key points from today's compensation situation. So they are now on the screen. I'm not going to read out the whole statement for you. So just run through the key points. Under 12s and under 19 season ticket holders will receive a free season ticket for next year. So if you held a ticket this year, you'll get a new one next year. If you're under 19 or under 12 and didn't have one, you will still have to pay. All season ticket holders have been given access to the club's iFollow service to watch live stream of all home league matches, and that stays in place until the completion of Town's home League One fixtures. Season ticket prices for 21-22 have all been frozen across every single category. Now, it's that middle one there, Colin, that's going to cause a little bit of frustration. We'll come on to what you feel about the refunds at the moment, but do you understand what they're meaning with that? It means that you got this year's iFollow service. Well, what do you make of that middle one for a start?
Well, to be honest with you, I thought that was a little bit unfair, to be perfectly honest.
Okay.
I've got to be honest. I really did, but that's just my feeling on that. On that subject, yeah.
Okay.
I thought that was a teeny bit unfair.
Okay, going further, figures calculated on that basis that a price of an iFollow match pass is £10, and there are 23 home league matches. All supporters who paid above 230, so if you paid below 230, you're kind of stuffed. For the 2021 season ticket, will be refunded the difference between that figure and the value of the season ticket. So if you paid 333, you'll get reimbursed 103. That's quite straightforward. And the last one is you got 3 refund options. Use refund against the cost of a new season ticket. Receive your refund back in total on 1st of June, or leave the refund in the club as a donation to the community trust or the academy. Right. So that's the administration out of the way. Now I want to hear what everybody's got to say on this matter. Colin, fire at me. What do you make of the compensation suggestions from the football club today?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, Martin, I think they're a little bit, I've got to say, I think they're a tad disappointing, if I'm quite perfectly honest. I just feel that, I just feel, I don't feel they're outrageously bad. I just feel they're just a tad disappointing.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my opinion. And to be honest with you, I'm not prepared to say any more than that. That's how I see it. I'm not overly disappointed, but there again, I'm not overly pleased.
What disappoints you the most from it?
Well, going on to the prices and stuff. I mean, I personally think that having what everybody's been through, and as regards the actual prices, comparable to some teams that are actually in the championship, e.g. Barnsley in particular. I think
Millwall.
Some of the prices are outrageously high. I've got to say. I mean, you've got prices in the upper tier of the Bobby Robson and the upper tiers of the Alf Ramsey getting on for nearly the best part of £500.
Yeah, yes, they are. Yes, they are.
And I've got to be seriously honest about this. I love this club. I don't need to say that. But I'll tell you what, those prices are outrageously high for this league that we're in.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
I think unanimously across the board, people will agree with you. Let me just bring in the King, Kelly Bisler. King, what do you obviously heard some Colin's thoughts then? We'll elaborate those as we go through tonight's sort of mini stream, if you like. But what are your thoughts from a fan that lives outside of Suffolk, travels in, etc.? What do you make of today's news?
I'm quite happy. I'll be honest. It's one of those where when we were thinking about refunds under Evans, we were, I'd be lucky to see. I'd written off that I'd get a penny back anyway. So everything now is at the moment is a bonus. If I look at it from a financial point of view, my season ticket, it's going to cost me 230 quid for a season ticket. So I'm not complaining on that. Yeah, that's if I go with the same ticket. If I decide to go, because I said my season ticket's 530 quid or whatever. Sorry, £531. I don't know where they get these little extra bits. But so there's that. But then if you're at the North Stand or the ones behind the goals, they're about anywhere between sort of 350 to 450. So it could cost me between 30 quid to 130 quid just to change my seat and just for a season ticket. I'm happy with it because we weren't gonna get a full refund. There's talk about you shouldn't get season tickets for free. One, it's a business anyway. These guys have still got to make money anyway. And I read somewhere, I think it was Stu Watson put something on Twitter earlier about there's still about a certain amount of income. So 60% of their income is what they can spend. So there's those kind of regulations they've got to look for. So having scrapping season tickets when that actually we sold 9,000 last year, we'll be close to doubling that, right? I'll be surprised if we don't get close to double 15k, right? We'll sell on season tickets. And I think especially now you've got this kind of thing where they want the younger followers to come. So like was it the under 19s and the under 12s? I know Crunch is quite happy because it's going to save him a few quid, I think he was saying as well.
Rumour has it that's the only reason they did it, because they didn't want Cruncher coming after them. So, rumor has it.
He's got his spies, mate. He's got his spies everywhere. But it's I thought there was an interesting thing that Matt Stannard said earlier when we was having a chat on Twitter. And there's a thing there that I think the club, because from my point of view, I'm one person that takes a season ticket. There's me and my wife. My wife comes to the odd game. I'm not going to buy a season ticket for her just for that. I'll buy an extra ticket whenever she wants to come down or when it's a friend or whatever. So I've only got the one season ticket. I've got obviously friends that I've got kids, so I'm thinking, the club have thought of that. But you've got Matt as an example. I'm sure there's other people there. I think Lee as well. But like their misses are season ticket holders as well. There's 2 adults that have got a season ticket holder. They're the people that, for me, are the ones that are losing out on this.
Yeah,
so
like Sarah John in the chat here. Yeah, Sarah John in the chat mentions that. Yeah, I mean, you can see the thinking behind the under 19s, under 12s in respects of that's why they've done it. So if you've got your children who have tickets with you, you're not all going to use your different iFollow codes. Interestingly enough, following the Mark Detmer get the youth back involved, I would have maybe liked to have explored cheaper reduced rates for new under 19-year-olds or free tickets for those, because the current ones come in and are invested, either because their parents are or they already love the football club. You want to try and attract those ones that are not yet coming on a Saturday afternoon and just hang around the butter market. Give them somewhere to go, get them sort of investors. I was interested that wasn't really changed. Let me just bring in Kurt. I've got the Fisherman as well coming up. But Kurt, heard Callie, heard Colin. What are you thinking there?
Listen, from I mean, I'm talking as a fan who obviously lives way up north here. I live on the other side of Manchester, so this is probably going to be the first season that I actually do have a season ticket. Now, in the grand scheme of things, for wherever I sit, it's probably going to be about 30 odd quid a month on a direct debit. Which, bearing in mind, I know a couple of people around here who support Town as well. I can share the cost of travelling down and this, that, and other, and then therefore I'm cutting costs that way. It's one of them that you're never going to find the perfect balance in the community. You're never going to find the perfect balance. There'll always be something that sticks out and something that will grate on someone, and that's not an issue, because unfortunately everyone's got different circumstances, everyone's got different situations. So I think we all have to agree that I don't think there's ever going to be a perfect scenario where we're all going to get what we want. But listen, as Callie said there, it's a business. It has to be treated as a business. And whilst I do think that possibly, especially like you said there for Martin, the under 19s that have already got a ticket, it's one of them. Like you say, they're already invested. Maybe there could have been something a bit more done for the new ones if you are certainly trying to get them in. I think when they spoke about, when the owners have spoke about youth, from what I certainly gathered from their comments, especially when they mentioned that they're buying a block of tickets pretty much for all the games. I think they're focusing more on your below 12, your primary school children. But I don't know. It's a very difficult situation, because I for one think it's nothing spectacular. But then again, I wasn't expecting anything spectacular. I think the mood around the club in general for the coming season will bring people to buy season tickets or renewing them. I think had it been under Evans, I think we'd have been looking for a record low of season ticket renewals / season ticket pickup. But no, listen. It's going to be a summer of, fingers crossed, hope. And they keep going for this whole new change. Like it's a new era, a new change. And this is the first time where we could probably say that is actually true. But no, listen. I don't think there's much more the club could have done, apart from if you wanted them to add incentives on, like seasons ago, where they did the whole, if we hit this target, then we'll lower the price again. They could have done.
What do you make of the tweet that's sort of doing the rounds? And I've got it here in front of me from the 26th of August at 10 a.m. 2020. Town season ticket holders will receive free access to iFollow's live stream of the club's home League One games, while matches are played behind closed doors or in front of reduced crowds. I'll read that again. Town's season ticket holders will receive free access to iFollow's live stream of the club's home League One games while matches are played behind closed doors or in front of reduced crowds. Callie,
So-
what do you make of that?
Can I just jump in first? Sorry, bro.
Mhm.
So the first part was season ticket holders, yeah? Season
Mhm.
ticket holders also. I don't see the problem. I know there's been a bit of a conversation today about people saying, well, it's, and there's been lots of people on Twitter, Facebook, those were the days as well. Lots of people saying, well, I thought it was free, so I'm expecting a full free refund. The way I viewed it is it's back to, yes, it's a business. Yes, there's a pandemic. You know, it's not through any fault of Ipswich Towns that they're not having people in the stadium, right? It's a national thing. It's a worldwide thing. So with that in mind, I've looked at it like your season ticket become a virtual season ticket. So my season ticket, it still acted the same way if I wanted to pay for cup games, as you do with a season ticket. A season ticket covers you for home league games only. So I viewed that as, this is my virtual season ticket. If I want to watch any other games, everything is virtual. So my whole way of watching Ipswich Town over last season was virtual. I know we played 2 games in December, but with a reduced crowd or whatever. And actually, I rate them for that, because earlier when the minutes come out and when they were talking about refunds, they said people that went to those games were going to have those costs added up as well and docked off. Whereas actually they've said now, if you've gone to those games, it doesn't matter. You're still, it's 230 quid. That's it. So it doesn't matter if you've been to, and had a £30 ticket or whatever in the stadium. So it's just a business. I mean, we can't look at it all doom and gloom. In my opinion, it's like, okay, it's a lot better than we'd ever thought. When that statement was put out in August, that statement was put under a Marcus Evans regime. There were certain things that he had in.
But the word free, Kurt, the word free, that's what people are picking up on a lot here. And it doesn't matter which owner owned the business at the time.
So what's your season ticket?
Free means free, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, and to be honest, I think that is a mistake on the club part, especially with the way they have phrased. I'd say the way they phrased it is probably the wrong way, and obviously it has led to people being possibly misled about what they were receiving. But you've got to weigh in many factors. We all knew. Let's face it. I mean, we all hoped that the pandemic wouldn't go on for as long as it has, but unfortunately, we're now coming towards what I hope is the end. And I hope next season we will actually be in the crowd. But I don't think the club expected for it to go as long as possible. And maybe they could have phrased it a bit better. But we've got to remember, like, fans could have cancelled, like many did. And they could have. I mean, I've seen a few comments saying if I knew this was the case, I'd have listened to the radio. Fans had free will to go and choose that if they wanted to. Again, no one could have known that we weren't going to be in the ground at all this season. No one could have known it. The situation changed month by month. It's been a massive faff, but I would say it's more of an issue on the club's communication part there, and the fact they've come out and used the word free, especially now it's come back to bite them in the arse today. But we take the sense very literal, and in my opinion, what would you have classed your season ticket of this year anyway? I mean, let's face it. I mean, I've had to pay a tenner a month for mine. I mean, maybe they could have. What the club could have done is they could have said, "I'll tell you what, we'll take the cost down a bit, and we'll cut it like EFL do for overseas iFollow customers, because the price for overseas customers is very different to what it is here." So the club could have said, "You know what? I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll compensate like some of that on your side."
Can I just say that the thing that makes me laugh is people like Cruncher, who gets so upset about players having a meal out. He loves the club so much. He's now advocating people didn't have a gun to their head and they could have cancelled.
Hold on. That point there, let's be fair. There was a statement, and I think someone contacted the club. There was an email going around that says, actually, at the time, and I think this may have been around November, December time, if you cancelled, you may not be entitled to a refund, a full refund. So there was a thing, because listen, my season ticket's still active. I've still got my season ticket, right? But and I get my 230 quid refund.
Yeah, it's also an emotional thing, though, isn't it? Cancelling a season ticket, because it's your seat, and like for me, for example, it was my dad's seat who no longer is here. If I'd cancelled it and then lost it, it's just not a chance I would have wanted to take.
I think it comes down to poor organisation in general from the club. I mean, to leave it. I mean, obviously, it didn't help that we had an ongoing takeover. So obviously, I mean, these things. Had we not had this takeover on the table for what was it, 14 months? What he said. Had we had this coming towards the end, this announcement might have been made a while back. But obviously, with everything up in the air and obviously everything going on in the boardroom. It sounds silly to say, but this was probably forced to the back of people's minds, even though it should have really been at the forefront. But it's one of them. I think this should have been something that should have been sorted out a long time ago, and it shouldn't have been sorted out coming towards the end of the season now. But it's as I said before, people have different situations. People are obviously in different circumstances. But I would just say, in regards to that word "free." If you're going to have a go at anything, it is very poor.
It's a clumsy word, isn't it?
It's poor wording on the club's part. That's what poor word.
Yeah, okay, Colin, let's bring Colin back into it. Colin, you've heard the two lads here. They're both behind the club, with the club. It's okay in their opinion, which is fine. It's a fan platform, so it's all about getting all those different opinions. I'm just a mediator here. Colin, before I bring Mike in, what do you make of the two lads' comments there? And have they changed your opinion, or what do you feel?
Yeah, slightly, to be perfectly honest. I mean, Curtis and Callie always speak very sensibly anyway. They're two very, very intelligent young guys, in my opinion.
Later, mate. We're going to pay you
later.
No,
you are. No, seriously, I love listening to you. Yeah, I'd probably changed my opinion a little bit. I'd just like to have seen, as regards the pricing, right the way across the board, I would have liked to have seen it, relating a little bit more to the league that we're in. And can I just enlarge on that? I think we all agree that this league, to be perfectly honest with you, is nothing short of a shower of shit, really. I mean, it's a terrible, terrible league. And probably won't be that much better next season, and I just think I'm going to stick to that. I just think that for example, I would sit lower, and if I bought a season ticket in the Bobby Robson, it'd be £300, and next year I'm a pensioner. I'm actually 65 next year, so I could get my ticket next year, I think, for about.
Sorry. Beam me up, Scotty.
I could get my ticket next year, I think, for about £230 odd. And this year it would work out about £14 to go. Next year, probably about £12 or whatever. But
then, Colin, to counteract that, the higher revenue, the more money that the club have to work against this salary cost management protocol, where you got 6% of your turnover. So there are, I do agree, and there is long been BBC Look East segments about us having inflated ticket prices, blah blah blah. So I do agree with you to a point. But as Cruncher says, the club should be applauded for under 19s, under 12s.
Can I just say, Martin? Please let me just say, and I had kind of forgot about it, if I'm honest, right? Which I am. Mm-hmm. The under 19s and the under 12s thing about the free tickets was absolutely brilliant. Fantastic. I could not underline that more. That was a fantastic thing to do. And like Rich was saying earlier about the £10 season ticket. Do you know, I can't remember exactly, but Norwich several seasons ago now, I think it was when they were in Division 1 under that manager that we had. I think his name was Paul Lambert. I think it was that season that they started it. did they have even kids for nip? I think it was ridiculous. Well, obviously with an adult, their season ticket was either £3 or £5 or £10, something like that. And then all of a sudden they got 25,000 season ticket holders, and they've had them ever since. I do agree with Crunch, not because I like the lad and I agree with what he says, but I'll tell you what, that would have been a good initiative, in my opinion. I do totally agree with him there. I think we've missed a little trick there. Well, we might not have missed one if we're honest, because I mean these things get listened to, and maybe things get spoken about over the next week or two, or month or so.
All right.
And you know, and
all right, let's bring Mike Brown in. Mike, it's a business, as Curtis and Callie have said, and Colin, under 19s, under 12s for free. Lots of positives out of today's statement. Where are you on it, my man?
I'm on it. I saw a few seasons ago under Marcus Evans, I wouldn't buy a season ticket. My brother's got a season ticket, and he was paying, was it £27 a month or £37 a month, something like that. Well, even at the highest price, it works out £21 a game. Right now, most mobile phone contracts. I'm paying between. I'm running like £65 a month, and I'm thinking to myself, we're moaning about £21 a month or £21 a game or £40 a month for season ticket. I think, look, if we'd have got promoted and it was a good season, I think anybody would be moaning about it. I think the fact that it's been so bad on the pitch is the reason why everybody's sort of moaning about the price of the games. Look, like the average season ticket cost, it works out at £15 a game. Yeah, it's Portman Road. We want our team to get promoted and get to the promised land. We've got new owners. They've been under Marcus Evans here. I could fully understand people's gripe about it, and I get where people are saying when it comes to this season and the fact that none of us feel like we've got any value when we've paid iPhone or got it free for our season ticket, or feel like our season ticket hasn't been worth anything because the players have not really said. We had about 4 or 5 games at the beginning where we felt okay, yeah, we've got a bit of value, but the rest of it's been. Also, for me, the under 19, under 12s, that's brilliant. I think that's brilliant. I think that's a really good thing, and that'll entice them to come through and stay with the club. I think when fans are paying, like you say, paying sort of 40 and 50, the average mobile phone contract now for adult is about £45 a month, and we're sitting there moaning about, say, £27 or £30 a month for a season ticket. I just think that realism here is a business. The club needs to raise money. It takes money to run the games. If we're there, you've got stewards, you've got police, you've got organisation. The commerce side of it, that costs of the commerce side of it, and the logistics side of it, run game is ridiculous. I think next season, we just take this one. Everybody's the same. I was just on another form. Hull fans don't care about the season ticket because they're now promoted. I'm not one moaning about season ticket prices or getting refunds because there weren't no games or whatever.
Yeah, but we are what we are. Like if my granddad will should be a bike. We're not Hull. We're not doing well. We're not in the top 6. We're not in the top 10. We've got to deal with what we've got to deal with, as have the new owners. I think you're right for what it is. I think you're right.
They could have come out and just said, you know what, there's a 10% discount or 20% discount or something.
Yeah.
They've come out and done a deal, right? Which certainly in the time I've been supporting Town with the season ticket, it's probably the best deal they've offered, right? Secondly, I think we're looking at it from 2 points of views. One was about you've got to stop, and unfortunately we can't compare it to other teams and stuff like that. I've got family who are Wolves season ticket holders, and they pay less than me to sit at Premier League games in Europe again. Well, Europe's not covered, but Premier League games and stuff. So Ipswich
is bigger, isn't it?
Yeah, but Ipswich's season tickets and ticket prices, they've always been high. That's a separate issue. That's something that needs to be addressed, and I'm sure the Americans will do that. Or unless we get to the Premier League and Championship, solid Championship, you'd pay them things anyway. Because to pay, I do agree with what Colin and what Mike and everyone's saying there, because to pay, say, another 530 quid or whatever next season, if we don't go up, the following season after that, it's like, well, hold on, how many times can you pay to watch? And no disrespect, but like people like Swindon and Accrington and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, what if they'd given there's some perks away with it? You know, like a couple of years ago, Kurt, they said buy one now. If we go up to the Premier League, you'll get one at the same price. Could they have done that in the Championship? I know that's, you know, bit of a PR gaff because fans will say, "Oh, it was Premier League, now it's Championship." But you know.
Listen. You've got to remember that sometimes these they come with a special. So let's face it. A couple of seasons ago, they did the whole: if we get 10,000, then we'll lower the price again. This, that, and the other. What we do have to remember though is, do you really think that Mark Williams wanted to do that discount? There's absolutely no chance. He knew that the uptake on season tickets was going to dwindle. So you as an owner, you've got to think, how can I entice fans to get a season ticket? And I say I'll give them a target-based incentive in order for them to then get a cheaper ticket. These incentives always come with a caveat. So it's one of them. So let's face it, new owners coming in this summer. It's a whole new slate. Everyone's rejuvenated. Fingers crossed we've got a better squad. You as owners, you know you're not desperate you're not trying to desperately pull in fans, because you know that there's a new hope around this club now, and the fans who didn't renew the season ticket and the fans who cancelled their season tickets, they are going to come back because they're no longer under this Evans regime, and they don't need these incentives. And I understand that some people have different, like I said, monetary costs, it varies from person to person. But these new owners, in my opinion, they don't need incentive to drag these people back, because the hope is there. The hope and the interviews have been given, and the positive news that's coming out of the club is what's going to drag us back.
Absolutely, yeah.
The incentives, like if we get 10,000, you get 10% off. You've got to remember, they don't do that out of the goodness of their own heart. Like Everton did it at that point because the ticket. Everyone said in that season they were going to cancel. We were get. I think it was the first season in the League One. They said, "Oh, I'm cancelling. I'm not renewing." But he did it to try and keep those people on the side. These new owners don't need to keep anyone on side because we're already on the on side. Like and we'll all obviously support them as much as we can. So
I think that's the point, isn't it? I think what you said there, Kurt, is right. You know, the owners have already got us on board. Don't need to put incentive. You know, with the video earlier, the video on Twitter, and that's just, you know, going from 62 to 78, 81 to 95 to 2000. You know,
great video, wasn't it? Yeah.
You know, new era thing. You know, in the back of your hair, back of your neck, and the hairs stand up. And, you know, we've got all this to look forward to. And I genuinely believe, I honestly believe this, that if we'd have got promoted this season, this cricket season thing wouldn't have bothered, because everybody was buzzing, everybody was happy. And I think that, you know, it's because we all feel like, you know, we were all looking for a 4-course luxury meal, and what we got was a McDonald's Happy Meal, you know, and that
which is ironic, really, because that's what your bloody Wi-Fi is tonight. Mike, sort it out ahead of tomorrow, my man. I'm going to let you go now.
I'm going to be having words. My son is on Warzone.
Go and sort him out, son. Go and sort him out. Right, Barnsley fan in the room. Barnsley fan in the room. Enemy territory. He's venturing in. He's a dad. Congratulations, my man.
Thank you. Cheers. Appreciate that.
Are you sleeping at all?
Very little.
Well, don't worry. Promotion party soon.
Don't need sleep.
What do you make of all this?
Well, I think your under-19s and under-12 policy is good. We did something similar, but ours are only like 15 quid for. I think it's 15 quid for my daughter to go. So that's like, she's 7, so that's not bad. But they've took like 100 and I think it's 120 quid off our season tickets. So it's only cost me 260.
Wow.
That's behind the goal as well, so it's not bad seats.
And that's for Premier League football next year.
Yeah, well, hopefully. They offered us. We could do a similar thing with that iFollow, whether we're asking for donations to club, or you could ask for not certain amount of money back, but it could go towards your next season ticket and stuff.
Oh, really? So they weren't they weren't charging you for that then?
No, they weren't charged as much for that. No, because you got. I think they put an email out saying, because I got my season ticket knowing farewell weren't going to go this season. Because I think we all
did, yeah.
Back in his head, so I just counted that money as gone anyway. To be fair,
yeah.
So I just
because I was just going to ask Colin, was there any point this year where we ever thought we would go back? Because even when they were doing the test event, people were still saying it's not right, not the right time, not safe. All of this, like there was never a single moment in time, was there, Colin, where we expected to go back?
Well, I didn't think so. No, not at all. No, not one second really. I don't think. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's.
I mean, I've got nothing else to really say on that really. And yeah, I wouldn't say there was any time at all where we thought we would be going back. You know. But,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Go on, Barnsley fan.
I think that was when we got the season ticket. I think that was the risk you took, weren't it? Because you knew you were supporting the club through that time, really. So, you know, you got the iFollow, which is quite good for what it is. I mean, the only problem is I've been to more away games this season than I've ever been in my life.
I've seen every single game.
Yeah.
Oh, my eyes have been bleeding. I tell you that much. I do think though that your seat is like your home, right? In the sense of it's the place where you're highest, you're lowest, you're most vulnerable. You're riding the crest of the wave. There's all different emotions that go into the football matches that make that seat as big a part of your life as your own bricks and mortar. And so when people say cancel it or you didn't have to buy it, that's a real emotional attachment that you just can't do. Like, it's not even in my DNA to consider not buying a season ticket.
No, I can't.
Martin, can I just come in there?
Of course you can.
Yeah, it's a great analogy you made there, Martin, because it was like where my father used to sit, and he used to sit at the lower. Well, he sat in several stands, but for most of his years before he died, he sat in lower co-op, and the plaque that I put for my father when my dad died is at the back of what's now the co-op stand, and I put it as near as possible to the seat where my dad used to sit, and that was what it was all about the emotion, about
absolutely
near where he was, you know. And I absolutely get that, Martin. That's a very, very good point. Very good point.
I will say that what somebody said in the comments there about the standard of commentary on that iFollow is absolutely appalling. You know. Well, ours has been bad anyway. I don't know about how yours has been, but
ours is world class.
It's like listening to paint dry. I've had to mute it a few times. I do miss my seat because I had a guy at the back that used to tell the players to shoot when they're still an hour and a half. So I missed that one guy all game.
But in that about being at the stadium, because like I've never been one of those where I've said it's the same seat, everything. Even with my season ticket, I've got a seat, but because I'll go with some people that ain't got a season ticket, I may change it. I may go sit in a different stand, or I may go sit somewhere else, or whatever. Right? It's just about being there with the other fans, especially for me being out of town. Because like, listen, there's no one around here talking about Ipswich. You know what I mean? So being there for 90 minutes, right? You know, every Saturday, sometimes Tuesdays or whatever, maybe Wednesdays when we're in the Champions League and stuff like that. But you know, that's what we're all dreaming of. You know what I mean? I just love being back at the ground. I think they missed a few tricks though. So I would have under 19 and under 12 things good. But after speaking with, like I said, people like Matt, who've got, you know, their partners and stuff, their wives and whatever, they're going and season tickets. They should have looked at maybe being able to, you know, one household having to pay one ticket rather than still paying now 2 tickets and getting, you know, the kids free. They still got to pay for 2 adult tickets or whatever, because you're not using 2 lots of iFollow passes, right? So I thought that's a bit something there. They should have done something that they did about 10 years ago when they used to do the, 6 or 10 game season ticket pass or whatever, where you could do that. And maybe they will because, fixtures ain't out yet. And then the other thing has got to be around the infrastructure of it, being able to, offer your ticket to someone else or whatever, digitally or whatever. Because I'm sick and tired of having to post my season ticket down to my mate, right? I'm paying for Royal Mail. It's like we live in a digital world. If there's one thing we learned over the last 12 months is we can do a lot of things digitally. So that's something I'd like to see. And then Curtis can come down with me.
Yeah, and they might do that with SeatGeek. Right, final word to our Barnsley fan, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, I've got to go because he's due a feed, so I've been summoned.
Go for it, son. That fatherhood calls us all. Right, okay, we'll leave that there. It's really good getting all of your different various viewpoints, etc. Back tomorrow night with Milk Train Man Ben and the Fisherman. Hopefully not on McDonald's Wi-Fi, or I'll boot him out tomorrow night. What we'll do is we'll break down some more of this. We'll discuss Saturday's game coming up. We might even look into round 2 of worst ever players under Marcus Evans. There's lots to get through. And what could have, should have happened. A few comments before we go. We've got Callie, Mike D, sorry, agreed Callie. Birdcase said he'd look at that. Matt Stannard. Ryanair is a business.
You can't compare that.
I won't compare anything.
Look, I couldn't get into an argument with Matt because he's just too smart, mate. Seriously, like he knows his shit. I'm just like, yeah, yes, sorry, Matt.
Matt's the GOAT. Matt is just the absolute GOAT. Andrew Laws doesn't have an issue with Brennan or Mick, but the last reason they had much. No, they're okay. They're not. I always think like if you're paying for an iFollow service, which is obviously TV. You've got radio commentary for TV, and there's some differences there that are quite glaringly obvious, like Brennan's voice getting excited for a shot that hits the corner flag. It's like, for fuck's sake, Brennan. It's like, what's good? Or Stephen Ward bombing down the wing.
That was the line.
And you realise he's going backwards. Jesus Christ. Oh, good grief. Little things like that. Michael Finch, I was really trying to say these people that are moaning about paying attention to watch their team, but will pay whatever to watch bloody teams in the Premiership. Yeah. Then again, also the dodgy camera work, the shaky camera. Like, did anyone get their money back from that?
Yeah.
Go to the cinema, get a screen blower bulb or something stupid. You'll get your money back. Sitting there getting seasickness, you're just told to get on with it.
Yeah, but some of the games you're used to watching via either listening to Radio Suffolk. Certainly a lot of the Tuesday games, I wasn't going down a lot of the Tuesday games, I was giving it to my mate. But you're listening to on Radio Suffolk or whatever up here, or scrolling on Ipswich's Twitter feed or something. So a little bit of a shaky camera, because last season I watched iFollow when we did the cup games and some of the week games as well. So I've seen this service before. It's one of those, I looked at it virtually. Maybe I'm looking at it a bit different, like me and Curtis, because we're out of town or whatever. So any kind of, coverage. I think Emerson put something at the beginning of the chat, which would also be a good thing to look at or explore, is the iFollow video season ticket or something. Maybe adapt that a little or whatever. So if you can't go down to the game, can you watch it on an Ipswich Town live stream? Why have we not got an Ipswich Town, live stream channel or whatever? So
I'm available to host, of course. You'd want me, absolutely want me. There's nobody else you'd rather have. Matt Stannard. For midweek matches, Crunch 76. Apparently, Mike the Waiter last night outpaced Ward. Oh yes, tomorrow night we will have Crunch's obscene comments. Curtis will be dropping by to discuss what he felt about those. I've got a few of things myself mentioned about that. But I must dash. I'm off out for a meal. So we will go. We will done with Dusted. No, I'm not really. I just thought, off out for a meal last night. Anyway, don't worry. We'll leave on a real positive. We'll leave with the video package, courtesy of ITFC. Dan Palfrey, thanks very much for letting us have that. Because that's something to go out on, right? That's a real positive, and it does get you going. So Colin, Callie, Curtis, thanks ever so much. We're back tomorrow at 8:30. See you then.
(1962) Ipswich Town, champions of England. Crawford and Phillips reigns. Alf conquered all. A place in history gained. Another future England man was to follow, with Wembley glory to come, and in '81 Europe would fall to Bobby and Sons. Walk, Mariner, Butcher, Mills, the Dutch masters Muren and Tyson, their names never to be forgotten. But football moves on, and they moved on. Relegation followed. Dazelle dazzled, Kiwamya scored, the good times returned, and a place back at the top table. A familiar face took charge in 95. Playoff heartbreak became the end of the ride until it was Wembley in 2000. The journey this time had a happy ending. Stewart led the line as goals flowed in the Premier. Town back in Europe and Inter were beaten. A drop from the top though saw a royal appointment. More playoff despair would agonisingly follow. A new name on the lips of Town supporters, but no way back to the promised land, as Magilton, Keane and others sought it. Recent years have seen more tears than cheers in the pages of Ipswich Town, but a new chapter is coming. Change is coming. There's a new team in town. The next chapter begins.
You really couldn't find a better club than Ipswich. And you know, with that, we are so grateful and humbled by this opportunity.
And from an owner's point of view, you always know that it's the supporters who really own the club. And you seek to leave the club in a better state and a better position than when you walk in the door on day one.
Long term going forward, this club will change, has to change and must change.
Our goal is to get the youth as passionate about the club as so many other generations have been.
We want to bring the success that this club deserves, and it has to start with on-the-pitch performance.
I don't know why anyone would be investing in English football if they didn't have aspirations to get to the Premier League.
And without fans, you've got nothing.
With the personnel that's about to come into the club, with the ownership that we've now got, we can look forward to transfer windows and players coming into the club that the fans can relate to, and the identity of the team being clear. We want to be a really strong, aggressive front foot team. I think one of the things we can all guarantee at the minute, that Ipswich has got a really bright future. I think we can all guarantee that.